I don't disagree with you, Pat, but these people are coming in and saying, I didn't disobey the rules. I
That's a different
stopped.
issue. That's a different issue.
I stopped. And we have no way of saying they didn't stop. Other than the patrol person saying, here's the license plate, I saw you, and I'm saying you didn't stop.
What's the percentage that is saying I stopped and you guys have it wrong? Is it 20%?
I'd say it's probably 60% are coming in.
60%.
50 or 60%, yeah, are coming in and saying, I stopped.
It's the non-accountable generation.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but there's a lot of other issues to look at when you say this. When you look at a patrol out there doing motor vehicle enforcement, it may sound silly, but how well trained are they?
Well, actually, one person asked that last night, and the response, well,
I hear Pat saying fully trained, but what do you determine as fully trained? Believe me, I sat through 22 weeks of school twice.
Not because you failed the first time.
No, two different departments. And the fact is, something as simple as stopping for a stop sign. What is a stop for a stop sign? And there are tons of law books written on just that.
How to come to a complete stop.
Where is a stop? I know officers that would write a ticket if you didn't stop at the stop sign, but that's not what the code says. Code simply says you must stop and yield to all oncoming traffic before proceeding. So if you're the second car in the line and the first car stops and you don't stop at the stop sign, that's not a violation.
Joanne, what is it that you're looking for?
That is not a violation.
the compliance committee is looking for some way that they can have a defense, that they have some sort of proof in the he said, she said process.
So we can get some kind of camera thing.
You're going to have to take the word of the patrol person.
That's the whole idea.
It's either going to be a he said, she said, and we value we give more credits to the patrol person, or we abolish the whole thing.
Well, actually, this is going to become a moot point if we proceed as we're talking about. But, you know, their recommendation is that what Pat said would be too administratively burdensome is a warning system followed by citations on the second offense.
They don't work anyway.
That's right.
I would vote for that. This is a community of our friends and neighbors. It's not the Frederick County Gestapo. And if we cannot, just as Steve said the other night, he picked up on my kinder, gentler community. I really think that we should never find, that ought to be an absolute last resort to fine our neighbors. We ought to do everything we can to warn them. If we have flagrant violators, yeah, fine them, but not because somebody arguably may or may not roll through a stop sign. The next thing he does is a $50. There's no way to treat a
I agree
neighbor.
with you, right up until the time they go over that kid.
Well,
And don't forget, John, only safety issues are like that. Every other compliance issue in here, the person has a right to correct and has time to correct and can negotiate correction. It's only safety issues. And cutting trees down, one-time offenses that can't be corrected.
I'd like to ask another question. Where are we with having the either county or state police come in to enforce traffic violations? Because that's going to solve solve the problem.
We have
First ticket that's written, word will go through this place like
Well,
wildfire.
actually, somebody on the compliance committee said that they saw within the past month a Frederick County policeman come into Lake Holiday and give tickets.
Well, actually, the person drove off of the county highway, and the cop followed him into Lake Holiday. I think that's how.
They cannot give traffic violations in Lake Holiday.
Could we get an answer to the
It's
question?
private property.
It's not going to be realized. It's too expensive because every single road sign that you have here at Lake Holiday is not VDOT compliant. It's either too low, too far from the road surface, some issue with every single sign. I don't know why they were placed that way at the time they were, but it would be. huge cost for the association to
And
get road
after we
certification.
incurred that cost, we would find that the sheriff would never come. The sheriff has told us, you guys aren't getting any patrol, regardless of what you do.
He might be eating his words though.
Yeah.
He might be eating his words.
You know, we pay taxes for a lot of things that we don't get.
Well, he said, I've got so many sheriffs, and they aren't gonna be going through Lake Holiday, I guarantee it.
Then maybe it's time to start talking to his boss.
Yeah. We'll see.
Because we do pay a significant amount of taxes, and we deserve equal footing with the rest of the
Equal
community.
protection
That's
under
where,
the
that's
law,
where the
right.
discussion.
Okay,
Absolutely,
I
that
agree.
sounds good, John.
I agree. We should not take that with just because some sheriff says he's not gonna do that. Do they wanna reduce our taxes accordingly? If we're not getting sheriff's protection, we just cut our taxes down?
We're sort of moving off the topic here.
We are.
I think what
Yeah.
John said has a lot of merit, but I think the idea of being neighborly is worth a try. We might find that we have less claims and less resentment, and people more willing to pay their fines because they know they already were nailed one time and got by with it. Or their kid went through the stop sign and made a mistake. All right, here's the letter, next one, you're gonna pay the fine.
I should have a motion, include that at your next board meeting. Get it resolved.
Yeah, the one thing we cannot do is allow the patrol to stop people, and it has nothing to do with insurance liabilities, it's legal liabilities. The mere fact of stopping someone in the Commonwealth of Virginia, you have effected an arrest. It would be, you come under all kinds of civil and criminal segments, misfeasance, malfeasance, nonfeasance, false arrest. I mean, it just goes on and on ad infinitum. and
Or
you're
Mike, you haven't,
liability.
I mean, they haven't for those reasons, and they're not gonna, so that's not something that's gonna happen.
I think we wanna go down that route. Ray has suggested tabling this to the May board meeting. Is that because nobody wants to make a decision, nobody wants to think about it?
I think there may be, not in a voting standpoint, but I think there may be some better input after our executive session that will affect this topic.
So, do I hear a motion to table this until later?
Okay.
All in favor?
Right.
All right. But we'll come up again in May.
In a week, right?